here trooping it out for the foster kids as usual.
Love that right there. Now, there's an event going on Saturday, that's tomorrow. Talent show competition, Bobby Keys, located 172 Fleet Street. That's the National Harbor at 1 p.m., correct?
Yeah, 1 to 4 p.m. Basically giving people a chance to be heard. You know, you got a lot of people that, yo, I could do this, I could do that, I'm creative, I could sing, I could rap, I could dance, you know. So here's a chance, no excuses. Here's an event that allows you to come give your presentation. That was the whole essence of hip-hop.
Right.
Come give your presentation. Hopefully it's captivating, hopefully it's unique, hopefully you could do something, change the world, and at the same time, make a name for yourself. So no excuses.
Yep, indeed. And this is open to everybody.
It's open to everybody. All ages, too. You know what I'm saying? Because you got some OGs that say, I could do such and such. I
still got it.
So you could get out there and do it. But, I mean, basically, we created it as a way to give, you know, foster kids, the so-called underprivileged children, or those underprivileged youth, you know, those young boys and girls. You know, when you look at foster kids, a lot of them go through life thinking, yo, I'm just a foster kid. You know, I'm in a group home. You know, that's they label themselves as that. They identify themselves that. But I like to tell the foster kids, look, your situation may be unfortunate, but you can never let your situation define who you are. You know, look at me. I found out that I was adopted at age 35. I didn't know my whole life. Then I found out that I was a foster kid. And with all the accomplishments that I was able to do with Running J, you know, first to go gold, first to go platinum, first on MTV. For everything that hip-hop is, Run DMC kind of set that up. We didn't invent it, but we kind of set it off. And when I look at me, what I represent is purpose and destiny. I represent what happens when you give every kid, whether they're homeless in a group home, whether they're a foster kid, you know, whether they're in unfortunate situations. I represent what could happen when you give every kid the opportunity to be the people that they were put here to be. If it wasn't meant for these kids to be here and be something great, they wouldn't be here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you look at me, I represent purpose and destiny. And that was the whole thing about hip-hop. Hip-hop was about, you know, no excuses. Okay, you know, kids like to go, oh, the government don't care about me. And there's not this and that in my community and society.
Excuses.
Yeah, excuses. But hip-hop was like, okay, it may be messed up. This situation may be messed up. But what could you do? What could you like to do? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not about being babysitters neither. We got to look into these kids. These kids have talents. These kids have desires. These kids have a purpose and destiny that they can't even comprehend. I couldn't fathom the fact that I was going to be DMC of Run DMC. If what happened to me didn't happen to me, I wouldn't be forget about me being DMC. I wouldn't be sitting here with this message. If my birth mother didn't give me up, fortunately, I was able to meet my birth mother. Right. She said she gave me up to give me a chance. And so if my birth mother didn't give me up, my real mother and father, Byford and Banner, who I rhymed about, son of Byford, brother of Al. Banner's my mamma and Run's my pal. It's McDaniels, not McDonald's. These rhymes are Darryl's, those burgers are Ronald's. I ran down my family tree, my mother, my father, my brother, and me. If what happened to me didn't happen, Byford and Banner would have never got me from Hollis, Harlem. I would have never went to Hollis. I would have never met Running J. Hip-hop wouldn't have happened the way it happened. Right. It was destined for that to happen, for this little kid, Daryl, to meet Joe and Jay and do what we did. So that's what I want to represent to all these kids that we're doing this event for tomorrow.
Now, tell me this. And we know that black adoption in the black community, we have some problems there. There's some roadblocks and some challenges. And what would you say some of the challenges are? And Latoria, this is something that you can chime in if you'd like to talk about this as well. There are some roadblocks that we have in regards to black adoption. What are some of the main problems that we're dealing with as a community?
Yeah, that's very true, Easy. The major problem is that people are not adopting their own kids. We just need more families to step up to the plate and open up their hearts and their homes for these kids, because you know we're the highest of everything. You know, the highest in cancer, the highest in AIDS, and we're the highest in kids in foster care waiting to be adopted. So we beg people, please, open up your hearts and home, call your local agency, and see if you can be matched with a child. The process is the same for everybody. It's not different. We just got to, step up and just do the right thing. Open up your heart and let these kids in.
Now, the name of your organization is called Whalers Creation, right?
Yes.
Okay, where can we find you online, and is there a phone number as well?
Yes, Whalers Creation Whalers-creation.us is our web, and my phone number is 301-877-7622.
Wonderful. Now, Daryl, are you familiar with the process of, like, what process? Like, say I wanted to adopt a child.
Right.
Are you familiar with the process?
Well, you have to go to an agency. You have to get approval. You have to go. It's a lot of legal stuff that you have to go through.
Right.
It's a lot of paperwork. It's not a scary process. It's no different from going to get your license. Or it's no different from going to apply for a loan. A lot of people get so scared about the thought of adoption or even foster care or even mentorship, you know what I'm saying? And one of the big problems in the U.S. is this too. We got all these beautiful, lovely, talented children of purpose and destiny here in America, but a lot of people in America tend to adopt outside of these cities,
Right.
and it's a thing where, it's cool, don't get me wrong. Any adoption is really, really, really cool. But it's like, they'll go overseas to these overseas market to adopt these kids.
Somalia.
Every year, right. And it's not like a big thing where, I like to relate it to, when everybody wants this cute chihuahua. So they'll go adopt outside of their homeland when every year here in America we got over 500,000 kids in foster care. Mm-hmm. That's what creates the problem. My thing is this: if you put some time into these kids' lives, these boys and girls, and you give them home, you could adopt, right? Now, if you're not ready to adopt, you could become a foster parent, which is cool. And even with the kids in the group homes, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we have this thing called mentorship. And what that means is once a week, go give a day to these kids. Tell these kids, yo, I'm rooting for you. Yo, if you ever need anybody to talk to, you could give me a call. Or you could tell them, yo, I was in your same position. These kids need to see and touch a feasible hope. I say this, sometimes you got to close the Bible, and sometimes you got to put away the therapy books, and you got to talk to these kids and say, what is it that's going on in your life? A lot of times with these kids, they be in these group homes, and you got book A, you got book B. Book A is for the girls, book B is for the boys, and you got 10 girls and 10 boys. And one of these kids don't follow the program. They don't fit the program. I had kids who are perfectly physically, emotionally, and spiritually healthy. But just because they don't fit the criteria of some blueprint in some book that some therapist or some politician wrote who didn't walk in their shoes,
Mm-hmm.
I had kids that have been at meetings and they'll say, yes, and he has a learning disability and he's not, and the kid was like, what do you mean by that? And they tell the kid to shut up. So my thing is, we have to deal with these children. Family has nothing to do with flesh and blood. These kids ain't the city's kids or the state's kids or America's kids. These are our sons and daughters. If we educate them, if we give them love, if we give them direction, if we discipline them, and if we teach them, show them that they're worth something, these foster kids don't only do well when they're given the opportunities, they excel. They excel. DMC, Rosie Perez, Alonzo Mourning, and the list goes on and on and on. We excel when we are given every opportunity that we deserve, especially for living here in America. So it's kind of insane that people go outside. Now, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. It's cool to give any kid a chance. But the reason why there's a big problem here in America is because we got the same number, 500,000 kids annually that's in the foster care system. We need to change that. And I just want to, I don't have all the solutions, but I like to be an example. You're looking at what can happen if you give these kids every opportunity to be successful. And like I said, they don't just do well, they excel. All the kids in foster care that do make it to college, a lot of them could go on to be scientists and journalists and directors and and astronauts and have CEOs of companies, but it's like a number that 99% of the kids that make it to the universities, you know what they change their majors to? They either go into law. They say, I want to be the judges that's presiding over the cases of the kids that's coming through the court system, going in the foster care system. They say, I want to be the doctor so I could go and help these kids. I want to be the therapist. Some of the kids even say they turn down these big, fabulous, 6 and 7 figure jobs to go back and be social workers. One thing about foster kids is when they get an opportunity to succeed, just like me, I had no idea it was a foster kid, but something said, I gotta go back and fight the good fight for the kids that are still in the system. So a big problem is nobody here in America adopts the kids that they see in the street. These kids ain't your kids. I mean, these kids ain't other people's kids. These are our kids. These are the next great you and me's. The next great radio personalities, athletes, entertainers, doctors, lawyers, scientists, and the list goes on and on.
All right, in the building, Daryl Mack, DMC from the legendary group Run DMC, performing live. That's going to go down tomorrow.
Yes.
Talent show competition at Bobby Keys, located at 172 Fleet Street, National Harbor, from 1 until 4 p.m. Everybody's invited.
No
the phone
excuses.
number is 202-607-6601. More with DMC next on 93.9 WKYS.